Alright, the camera's rolling. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Let's go. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's your boy Muhammad Al Hamazi right here. Inshallah, I decided to start a new series on my YouTube channel, and that will be all about making Arabic food. And inshallah, as you see, Kuwait flag on the heart, dressing up, and we're gonna be making Kuwaiti food today, and that dish called Mejboos. Wait, what the heck is that? Alright, so Mejboos is Kabsa chicken. It's rice and chicken. That's what most people call it. But in Kuwaiti dialogue, we call it Mejboos. When you make Mejboos, you gotta make the Daqoos. You know what I'm saying? Because you cannot make the Mejboos without the Daqoos. And inshallah, I'm gonna teach you how to make the hashu too. I hope you're gonna like it. I will try to make it simple, easy to do. And if you have any questions, you can ask me down below. Let's get to it, boy. Of course, you're gonna be needing chicken. You can use a whole chicken or a half chicken, but I will be using thighs. I usually use a whole chicken or a half chicken. And of course, you're gonna be needing some rice, Basmati rice, and you have to soak the Basmati rice, wash it and soak it. I would say maximum for an hour. For the spices for the chicken, we'll need bay leaves, cinnamon sticks, cloves, cardamom, and Anise Star. We'll need all spices, cumin, turmeric, salt, and curry for the end. We're not gonna use all the spices at once. We're gonna use some of them. We're gonna keep some of them because in the end, when we put it in the oven, we're going to put it on the top of the chicken. We will need onions for the rice and the hashu, and garlic. So now we're going to divide the onions. So half of it will go for the chicken. This will go for the hashu. We will need ghee, animal oil or animal fat, and we will need olive oil. And of course, we will need saffron soaked in warm water and rose water. We put the oil, the olive oil and the ghee. And now we put the onion and the garlic. And now we added the right spices, which are the bay leaves, cinnamon sticks, cardamom, cloves, and Anise Star. And you know, you just move it around, just make it get the taste, because you want the flavor to mix up. Now we will put the chicken, and we will move it also to get the flavor. And always the heat, always have it on medium. You want it to like soak the flavor in it before you put the water, the hot water. Now after a few minutes, we're going to put some of the allspices. And we will put some of the cumin or cumin. Now we will put some of the turmeric. And we move it again. You get the flavor mixed up. And we just move it for a few minutes. Just make sure that it got all the spices all over it, the chickens. And now we're going to put the hot boiled water. And we will put some of the salt. If you want to put some of this magic chicken flavor, you can, but you don't have to, and be careful with it because it has a lot of salt. So I'm just going to put a little bit. If it needs water, you can put more water. And now we will just cover it up and let it cook for about 1 hour. Okay, now it's time to make the hashu. So I didn't explain what is the hashu before. So hashu is basically onions. That's what it's all about, and the spices with it. But as you have to add something with it, something like turtle or yellow peas, and you have to wash this one, and you have to boil it until it's soft because you don't want it to be hard when you put it here. And some people like to put raisins or golden raisins. You have to wash them and soak them beforehand for like a few minutes. And you have black pepper. You need black pepper for it. You will need some salt, and you will need something called Lomi in my accent, which is basically dry lime. Dry lime. And of course you will need some water, and you will need some of the saffron soaked. And when you put the onions, you don't put any oil with it, you just put some water, because what you want to do is you want to caramelize it. You want to make it caramelized, like has like a caramelized color basically. And you just have to be patient with it. You have to keep moving it until it's caramelized, and every time it starts to get stuck, put some more water. And now we will add the peas, or the dal as they call it. Now we're gonna add the golden raisins too. Just make sure that the amount of onions and the amount of the dough and the amount of the raisins are kind of the same, and don't make any of them more than the onions. So we just move it a little bit. So now we just keep moving it, and now after a while we're gonna add the black pepper, and we're going to add the salt. The salt will come down. Here we go. And of course we're going to add the lime, and we just mix it up. So now we're just gonna put a little bit of the soaked saffron. So the flavor is all over the place, you know what I mean? And of course we cover it a little so the flavor get trapped inside. That's what we want to do. And after a few minutes, of course, we open it, and we just added a little bit of olive oil. So olive oil is the last step. We put oil in the end. So after we boiled the chicken, of course we drain the rice, and we strain it from all the water that has stretch, and we strain the chicken broth too, and then we put it here with the rice. We put all the rice, like we make sure that nothing left inside here, because nothing go to trash, habibi, nothing. About to cook it and boil it, you make sure that the water is above the rice, like this much basically, like a little bit, 1 centimeter basically, because you don't want it to get sticky, because when there's too much water, the rice become really sticky. Another thing, you need to know how much rice that you're making, and you need to consider the size of the bowl that you're using, because if it's a small bowl, the rice will stick together, but you need the rice to have a space. You just close it and wait for it, and when the water go down a bit, what you gotta do is that you have to like put some Cayenne over here. You don't have to, but that's what I will do, and I will use some of this just to make it look good. And of course we're going to put the saffron inside. So while the rice is being cooked, we're going to put the chicken inside the oven. So what we're going to need is tomato paste. I forgot to mention that in the beginning. And the rest of the spices, I just mixed them up. So we have to put the tomato sauce in the bottom first, and then we're going to put the chicken. And I repeat, it doesn't have to be thighs. Sometimes, or most of the time, I make a whole chicken or a half chicken. And now we put the spices on top. Don't have to put a lot, put just a little bit, just to give it a flavor. Tomato paste on top too. Now we take the saffron soaked, and we just put it on top. We just put it inside the oven for a few minutes until it gets kind of red and crunchy. Now we're gonna be making the daqoos, or the tomato sauce. So first we're going to need tomatoes, or tomatoes, whatever you want to call them, garlic, So now we put the tomato and the garlic on a pan. Now we put the garlic. We'll just move it and heat it up just for the flavor to get together. We do it on a medium to low heat. And now we put the spices and the tomato paste. Yes. First we could put the pepper, the black pepper, and we put the salt, and we put the pepper flakes, and we put the white vinegar, and we put the olive oil. Just a little bit of shatta because I don't like it to be so hot. Daqoos is supposed to be spicy a little bit. Here you go. The daqoos is ready.